The Armenian-Azerbaijani border conflict is a sporadic border war on the Armenian-Azerbaijan border and at the line of contact between Nagorno-Karabakh and the Aran region of Azerbaijan. Background: as the Soviet Union was dissolving, ethnic Armenians in Azerbaijan fought a brief conflict, backed by Armenia proper, that resulted in the de facto independence of Nagorno-Karabakh alongside a 1994 ceasefire agreement and what academics have called a frozen conflict. At the same time, Azerbaijan controls the exclave of the Nakhchivan Autonomous Republic bordering Armenia that is not contiguous with its main territory. Some clashes occurred in the years following the 1994 ceasefire, although no exact casualty figures exist by 2009. As many as 3,000 people, mostly soldiers, had been killed, according to most observers. In 2008, the fighting became more intense and frequent, with 72 deaths recorded throughout the year. 2014 became the bloodiest since the war ended. Conflict. 2008 Mardekert skirmishes. The 2008 Mardekert skirmishes began on the 4th of March after the 2008 Armenian election protests. It involved the heaviest fighting between ethnic Armenian and Azerbaijani forces over the disputed region of Nagorno-Karabakh since the 1994 ceasefire after the Nagorno-Karabakh War. Armenian sources accused Azerbaijan of trying to take advantage of ongoing unrest in Armenia. Azerbaijani sources blamed Armenia, claiming that the Armenian government was trying to divert attention from internal tensions in Armenia. Following the incident, on March 14, the United Nations General Assembly by a recorded vote of 39 in favor to 7 against adopted Resolution 62/243, demanding the immediate withdrawal of all Armenian forces from the occupied territories of Azerbaijan. 2010 violence. The February 2010 Nagorno-Karabakh skirmish was a scattered exchange of gunfire that took place on February 18 on the line of contact, dividing Azerbaijani and the Karabakh Armenian military forces. Azerbaijan accused the Armenian forces of firing on the Azerbaijani positions near Tapnarakoy, Yanlu, Kizilaba, Kapanli, Yusufkanli and Kavauli villages, as well as in uplands of Agdam Rayon with small arms fire including snipers. As a result, 3 Azerbaijani soldiers were killed and 1 wounded. The 2010 Mardekert skirmishes were a series of violations of the Nagorno-Karabakh war ceasefire. They took place across the line of contact dividing Azerbaijan and the ethnic Armenian military forces of the unrecognized but de facto independent Nagorno-Karabakh Republic. Both sides accused the other of violating the ceasefire regime. These were the worst violations of the ceasefire in 2 years and left Armenian forces with the heaviest casualties since the Mardekert skirmishes of March 2008. Between 2008 and 2010, 74 soldiers were killed on both sides. 2011 to 2013 continued fighting. On the 10th of March 2011, a 10-year-old Azerbaijani boy was killed by Armenian sniper fire. In late April 2011, border clashes left 3 Nagorno-Karabakh soldiers dead, while on the 5th of October, 2 Azeri and 1 Armenian soldier were killed. In all during the year, 10 Armenian soldiers were killed. The following year, border clashes between the armed forces of Armenia and Azerbaijan took place from late April through early June. The clashes resulted in the deaths of 5 Azeri and 4 Armenian soldiers. In all during 2012, 19 Azeri and 14 Armenian soldiers were killed. Another report put the number of Azeri dead at 20. Throughout 2013, 12 Azeri and 7 Armenian soldiers were killed in border clashes. 2014 clashes and helicopter shoot-down. In 2014, several border clashes erupted that had resulted in 16 fatalities on both sides by the 20th of June. On the 2nd of August, Azeri authorities announced that 8 of the soldiers had been killed in 3 days of clashes with NKO forces, the biggest single death toll for the country's military since the 1994 war. NKO denied any casualties on the side, while saying the Azeris had suffered 14 dead and many more injured. Local officials in Nagorno-Karabakh reported at least 2 Armenian military deaths in what was the largest incident in the area since 2008. 5 more Azeri troops were killed the following night, bringing the death toll from the August clashes to at least 15. The violence prompted Russia to issue a strong statement, warning both sides not to escalate the situation further. By August 5, 2014, the fighting that started on the 27th of July had left 14 Azeri and 5 Armenian soldiers dead. Overall, 27 Azeri soldiers had died since the start of the year in border clashes. In a separate incident in July 2014, the NKR Defense Army announced that troops had killed 1 and arrested 2 members of an Azerbaijani subversive group that had penetrated the contact line. In addition to spying on Armenian troop movements and military installations and civilian settlements in Karvacha, the team was charged with the murder of Smerbat Sakanian, a 17-year-old Armenian boy and resident of the village of Jumin. Both surviving members of the group were sentenced to life in prison by an Armenian court. In July 2015, video footage recorded by the team was released to the public and aired on Armenian state television. On November 12, 2014, the Azerbaijani armed forces shot down a Nagorno-Karabakh Defense Army Mi-24 helicopter over Karabakh Sagdam district. 3 servicemen were killed in the incident. Armenia's defense ministry stated the aircraft was unarmed and called its downing an unprecedented provocation. Quote, Azeri authorities claimed the helicopter was trying to attack Azeri army positions. Armenian authorities stated that Azerbaijan will face grave consequences. With the crash, 2014 became the deadliest year for Armenian forces since the 1994 ceasefire agreement, with 27 soldiers killed in addition to 34 fatalities on the Azeri side. 6 Armenian civilians also died in 2014, while by the end of the year the number of Azeris killed rose to 39. 2015 sporadic fighting. In 2015, 42 Armenian soldiers and 5 civilians were killed as border clashes continued. In addition, at least 35 Azerbaijani soldiers also died. Sporadic fighting primarily took place in January, June, August, September, November and throughout December. 2016 clashes throughout January and February 2016. 4 Armenian and 4 Azerbaijani soldiers were killed in fighting at the Nagorno-Karabakh border. The first casualty of 2016 was a Nagorno-Karabakh soldier Aran Vaskanian, who was killed by Azeri sniper fire while serving in the eastern direction of the line of contact. In mid-February, Hakabham Barchumyan, an Armenian herdsman from Vazhjinishan, was killed by an Azeri sniper. In March, 2 Azerbaijani and 1 Armenian soldier were killed in clashes along the border between Azerbaijan and Armenia. Between 1 and 5 April 2016, heavy fighting along the Nagorno-Karabakh frontline left 88 Armenian and 31 to 92 Azerbaijani soldiers dead. 1 Armenian and 3 Azeri soldiers were also missing. In addition, 10 civilians were also killed. During the clashes, an Azeri military helicopter, 13 unmanned drones were shot down and an Azeri tank was destroyed. Between 8 and 17 May 2016, sporadic fighting left 14 Armenian and 3 Azeri soldiers dead, as well as 1 Azeri civilian. Fatalities.